Hi guys, my name is Colt. I'm a software developer, and last few months I have been diving into learning Selenium. And not only that, I've been into automation for a while. So what is Selenium? Selenium, to put it blunt, it automates browsers. It was made specifically for testing browsers in a quality assurance or quality engineering setting. But that's not at all what it has to be used for, and that's not what it is limited to. If you're at your job and you want to automate tasks that you do every day, like sending an email or filling out a form, or I don't know, Selenium has the power to do that. Or most people think of automation, or they probably hear another word for it sometimes on the internet, and that's called bots. Around here, I don't use that terminology as something being a bot or making a bot, mostly because that comes with malicious intent or stuff in mind. I call them automation tools, and that's what they're going to be referred to throughout this series. I want to make this series because I noticed that there are a lack of resources for learning Selenium. There are a couple of courses online and a few YouTube videos, but a lot of them either have some sort of language barrier. The material is very solid, but a language barrier or just some other things that, to me, didn't help me grasp the things I needed to grasp. The paid courses are pretty good from what I've seen, but once again, those are paid. I want to make something free, and a way that I like to learn, and a way that helps me learn, as I've been doing this for maybe 6 months now, is by teaching it to people. So hopefully you guys can enjoy this and can take this journey to see what all Selenium can do for you. So let's jump right in. You're going to need Visual Studio. This is Visual Studio Community Edition, and you're going to File, New, Project. All right, you're going to want to Visual C Sharp. We will be using C Sharp for this. It is at the moment in my profession. This is what I've been using for the past few years. It's what I'm the most comfortable with. If you decide to do another language, I know Selenium can be used with Java. The logic and some of the scenarios will be different, but the syntax, of course, will be different. But you're going to want to select console application.NET framework, and we're going to call this automation tool sub. And you want to hit create directory. And why do we do automation tools? Because we're not creating malicious bots. We're creating super cool, awesome stuff. And we'll definitely get into that. Let's go to OK. And as this is loading, let's see. All right, done. Okay, we have our solution. And I'm just going to be honest with you. When you guys see this load up, if you have not configured your Visual Studio, your Solution Explorer will be on the right. It is a preference of mine for probably the last decade to be putting it on the left. If any of you guys have used NetBeans for Java development, it is actually on the left, since Java is what I started with. It is just a habit. None of this, as I'm over here in my Solution Explorer to the left, you may be tampering around the right. If you want to change that to further follow along, just grab the bar, and it has these spots. You can actually select which area. This will put it back to the left. I'm going to put it right here, so it can be on the left. Sorry, that'll put it back better on the right, but mine is on the left side, because for me, that is what's comfortable. All right, so we're going to go to this is our project name, this is our solution name. We're going to go to our solution, and we're going to right click, and we're going to manage NuGet packages for solution. And if you have never used a NuGet package and you do not know what it is, a NuGet package is a set of open source projects, solutions, and packages. And the key thing is that it's open source. Doesn't have to be open source, but I'd say a majority of them are open source. I know Selenium isn't open source by default, but if we go to browse here, so it's a way that you can download someone else's tools or applications or kind of frameworks that other people have made, and you can apply them to your solution. So we're going to go to search Selenium, which is a free NuGet. Okay, so we're going to see selenium.webdriver. We're going to select it, left click. We're going to go over here, select our project. Our project's here. That's our project name. We're going to hit install. This is installing the basic WebDriver Selenium has. And we're going to go Selenium support and select install. Now, you're going to notice this right off the bat, but we're going to need one of these drivers, Chrome.WebDriver, Firefox.WebDriver, or webdriver.ie. And as you can guess, this is just depending on what web browser you have on your computer installed and configured. Which ones do you want to use? Now, I'm going to use Chrome because, as you can see in my toolbar here, I actually do use Chrome. And just because I think it actually has the better developer setting tools, which we're going to talk about way later on. Firefox is okay. IE does have some weird configuration you'll have to set up, but for now, we're just going to left click on the Chrome WebDriver. That's there. We're going to hit install. So if we scroll back up when this is done, you should have these three things: Selenium.WebDriver, Selenium.support, and Selenium.Chrome.WebDriver. We're going to hit X. All those things are installed. It says finish. Now, out of practice, I'm going to be honest with you, program.cs is your program file that, if you're new to C#, you will need some experience. I hope you do know C#. If not, I'm not sure if this will be the best place for you to start. I don't have a tutorial for that or a video series. This is my first one. But program's an awful descriptive name, so we're going to rename this. You can rename it whatever you want. I'm going to use entry point because to me that is explanatory. I think it makes a lot of sense. Would you like to perform a rename? Yes, and it should refactor your code here. Boom, entry point. Entry point is now this. Entry point is now the class name. Project name still the same. And you can leave string args. You know about programming. That doesn't really matter right now. Out of best practice, entry point to me means this is where anything that enters is going to be ran. So this is our entry point because we're going to have a lot of files here at some point. We're going to delete all the default using. We're going to keep the namespace. I don't think that's going to harm anything. And, okay, the first thing we're going to do, there is something called an iWebDriver. And we're going to call our iWebDriver driver. You know what? Let's be more descriptive. Let's do Chrome driver equals new Chrome driver. Boom. And we're going to do 2 enters down because that's best practice. We're going to hover over this. It doesn't exist. Now, there are 2 ways you can do this. You can actually hover over it and wait for this, your light bulb, which will show you, oh, you should be, it looks like you're referencing this package, but you don't have it in your using. Well, we're going to, another way is that you can actually put your cursor on the word or your line here, and you can hit Control period, and it will also show you, and just hit enter on the first one. And just to use what I just showed you, we're going to go over and Control Enter on the Chrome driver, which is also showing an error red block or red squiggly line, and we're going to do Control. Why is it not doing that? Let's see. Why Chrome driver? Now, I will say that there is a hiccup, and this happens. I'm unsure why, but there is a hiccup when trying to do imports with Selenium. Trying to see if it'll do. Like right now, it's not reading my controls, but I know what it's using. It is using. Oops. It is using openqa.selenium.chrome. Boom. So that is what that is using. There's a hiccup, and I'm not sure if it's. I've even experienced this with other projects where that IntelliSense to bring that up, and I'm not sure if it's because the NuGet package or what, but if that happens, that is what it's using. If you can't get that to work like I just couldn't, it is openqa.selenium.chrome. Okay, so what did we do right here? We made an iWebDriver. So we're making an internet web driver, and what is that driver? Well, we named it. It could be anything. You could call it, like I decided at the beginning, I was like, oh, driver, and I was like, well, that is very undescriptive. We're using a Chrome driver, and I like to make my code very readable. And it is a new, because we're making a new object of this Chrome driver. There are no parameters in this, so that's fine. Okay, well, what can this Chrome driver do? What are its characteristics? How can it be used? Glad you asked. Let's take our Chrome driver variable, and we're going to do dot navigate dot, it has parentheses, dot go to URL, parentheses, and we're going to put a URL in here. Specifically, let's do http www.overworldinnovations.com. And if you don't know, that's actually my website, my personal website that I use to have people up to date on what my projects are that I'm working on and my own career. So that's a cool thing. So what we're doing here is that we're saying that we have a Chrome driver. It is going to .navigate, and it's going to go to the URL we specified. Now, here's an interesting thing. How do I know that? And if you get lost in what it can do, we can bring it down again. We can say Chrome. We can do Chrome driver dot. It will show you its capabilities, what class objects it has, what methods it can do. It can do .quit, which we'd use in a minute. We can do .url, .window handle, but we're going to focus and find elements. We'll talk about that in a minute. But navigate, it tells you, instructs the driver to navigate through the browser to another location. So we're going to navigate to that URL. Well, if there's something else, if you haven't used this, there's also something called a thread.sleep, and we're going to set the time to, this is in milliseconds, so we're going to do 1,000, let's do it a little longer so we can see. 3,000 milliseconds, which is 3,000 seconds, and once again, we're going to go there, control period, see, worked that time, don't know why it didn't with the Chrome driver, must be a bug, and boom, so now we have our using system.threading, which all that allows us to do is use the thread method, which we're going to say everything, which a thread object is everything that's going on in our program, sleep, stop it all right now, even the transactions, which is why we'll find a better way to do this here in a little bit. But for now, we just want to sleep, and the reason is that we're going to go to this URL, and we want to wait so we can make sure it went there. Okay, now remember, our Chrome driver is actually an object. We're making a new instance of this object. Well, how do we make sure it's going to close out and make sure it doesn't just linger and eat up our RAM or CPU or whatever? Well, we're just going to say Chrome driver.quit. So we closed it. So that's a fantastic thing. We're going to go to build. We're going to build solution. We're going to build it. And it's going to build. I don't know why it's taking so long. Bam. Now you should be able to hit Control F5. Oops. Looks like I have my functions off. Sorry for that. Let's do Control Function F5 for me. It will be Control F5 for you. So it is starting our Chrome WebDriver. It is going to open up Chrome magically, and it's going to go to none other than overworldinnovations.com. And I know it seems crazy because 3 seconds goes by so fast with me talking, but it actually stayed open for 3 seconds. Let's just make sure. Let's just do 15 seconds. Just when you hit. Now remember, Control F5 will run it with the console window. So do Control F5. Boom, 15-second counter will start now, and we're able to move around. Now, in good practice, as you're testing, if you're doing a QA or a quality engineering, quality assurance role, you should have your hands off your mouse. That's just how it should be. That way you don't interfere with the test. 15 seconds. Dang, it goes by fast, time. So it does bring up this, and we're going to hit any. Boom. So that was our first, not necessarily a test. We didn't really test anything, but we did learn how to install the NuGet packages. We learned best practices as far as naming goes. We learned about how to navigate to a web page. And we learned how to sleep our thread, our program, and how to exit that Chrome driver. Now, here's an interesting thing. If we, just because, let's just see, because this is pretty amazing. Let's say we don't quit the Chrome driver. Oh, actually, you know, what happens if we don't sleep? Let's try these different scenarios. We're just going to Control F5. It will rebuild, so we don't have a sleep. Let's see how fast Chrome is. And boom, there. We didn't even sleep. It was blink of an eye. It was crazy fast. Funny thing, the new Internet Explorer update makes it the fastest, actually. So we're going to put back our sleep. And actually, no, let's not put back our sleep. Comment it out. And comment out the quit. It will actually bug out after a while. I can't remember what it is, but the reason why is that your program is saying, hey, we're running, this should be happening, what's going on, and you see it doesn't close. It stays open regardless of our sleep time, because we don't have a sleep time. So the question is, it's like, wow, we don't have a sleep time. Why did last time we had the quit in there, it fell apart immediately, even though we didn't have sleep time. So this sleep says we're going to pause our program. The Chrome driver.quit says we're going to actually stop the driver, which takes up right here. It actually takes up space. It's actually using this, a port on your computer. It's a local port, but it's using it. If you don't get rid of that, you will have many ports open on your computer. I wonder if it'll let me do that. Let's see. So we come back. See, it says start again. So let's hit Control F5 again. Look at that. It never closed the second one. Oh, sorry, the first one. It's still there. So you're gonna want to close your drivers, mostly because it's gonna eat up a crap ton of RAM and stuff on your computer. No one wants that, and you're never gonna see if your test worker came back because it just opened the web page. And we'll get to that sooner or later. Guys, this was a learning and growing experience for me. This is a new project that I want to hopefully continue. I'm not new to development, but I am new to teaching it in this way, in a video format on YouTube and other means. If this is something any of you guys have enjoyed, and if you want to experience other things that Selenium can do in a fun and direct way, maybe let me go in the comments, whether you say, hey, I hate this, this is why, or hey, this is fantastic, please make another one. I want these to be anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes, something super short that you can learn in a day. And we'll take each step, well, step by step. Like in the next video, what are we going to learn? What's something you can learn? Well, we're going to learn, and we'll go down here, I'll type it out for you. We're going to learn about selectors. And you may ask, well, Colt, what is a selector? A selector is going to allow you to find elements on a page. Very similar to a DOM setup with web development. So one cool thing, and let's run this now. If we do Control F5, we're going to run our program again. It's not going to close because we have our Chrome driver.quit available. So we go to the web page, and you're like, Colt, you said you could automate stuff. I can open a web page myself. Why would I ever need to automate that? Good question. You wouldn't. But something you could do is that, what if you could automate clicks? Right? So I have current projects, things I'm working on. Boom, things I've been working on since a while. I actually need to update this. Completed projects, what are things that I've done? Okay, well, each time I go to this, I'm clicking elements on this page. And an element is used for HTML, as this is a navigation bar or text or an Ahref link. Well, if we actually go to it, and we're going to get more into this, and that's what I kind of want to hear from you guys. Is this something, what should I improve? What should I do to make this a better experience? I'm enjoying this so far. This has been fun. And I want to teach. I mean, this is a fun thing. And Selenium, as the last few months, I've learned a lot. And I would love to share it with you guys because there are very few places on the internet right now that are showing really solid courses. And as I'm learning, I would love to bring other people along as well, so that if you find yourself either wanting to make, what do we say at the beginning? Automation tools, because that sounds nice. If you want to make automation tools, or find yourself in a quality assurance setting, you look like a rock star. If you can literally go into your job and automate stuff, automation is massive, and it is where the industry is going to be going, and already is. People are going to be left behind. If you can come in and automate half the stuff, even if you're not even into development, and you're just doing word processing or Excel processing at your job, automation will make you look like a rock star, because there are going to be people to your left and to the right that are doing stuff that takes them 3 hours, when all you got to do is Control Shift, or Control, for me, Control Function F5, or Control F5, and then do it in 10 seconds. That's an amazing thing. So if you guys want to help explore these ideas, leave me a comment, hit a like. If you hate it, do a thumbs down. But regardless, if I'm going to wait a few days, I'm going to continue to make a few more, but I'm going to wait a few days, see how the video series does. And if I get enough feedback, heck, if I just get one person to say continue, I'm going to continue it. Anyway, thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you back soon.